David Weiss, or Flat Earth Dave, thank you so much for coming onto the Borderline podcast this evening. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. And this is the premiere episode. Is that correct?
That's right. That's correct. The Borderline podcast investigates. Yeah.
And the theme of your podcast, as you said, is mental health. So you're having a flat earther on because this is mental health, right?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I said to you, I'm all about investigating everything.
But flat Earth, come on, that's a step too far. I mean, you have a mental problem to think the Earth is flat, right?
Some may say, but after an hour, let's find out about it. So, I was very surprised to get your email falling into my inbox. It's not the invitation I thought I was going to come across on a Saturday morning, but after doing a little bit of digging, I became inspired to investigate a little bit more. This is something that I really want to do and investigate. So, my first question to you is, when did you first come or meet the flat Earth theory?
Well, all of us flat earthers have the same story where we heard about it, we laughed at the person that told us, we ridiculed them, then we refused to look, and then for some reason, some of us were willing to look and actually look in the right places. If you Google flat Earth, top 10 reasons the Earth is flat, Google will feed you top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe, and it'll give you a bunch of straw man arguments, a bunch of nonsense. Your brain will get tired, and you'll say, okay, flat Earth is stupid, right? And so I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and it was about all different types of conspiracies. Now, you said you're interested in conspiracies. Conspiracies are interesting. People say, "Oh, there's no conspiracies." There's a conspiracy in your own house, right? The two people conspiring for their own benefit is a conspiracy, okay?
Yep.
and a conspiracy theorist is just someone that likes to look at situations and analyze the facts, right? Like if we looked at what happened in New York on that fateful day in September. The conspiracy theory is what the news told us. The facts tell us a different story. But if you Google flat Earth, this is what you get. This is stupid. Nobody believes this, right? Right? You'll see that. You go, oh man, those flat Earthers, that's stupid. Cats would have pushed everything off the edge if the Earth was flat, and a bunch of it's all pre-programmed stuff that's pushed out there. And anything in the mainstream media, anything that's pushed to you in the mainstream about flat Earth is straw man's nonsense. They use this image, and they make claims that just aren't real. So as I was saying, we all have the same story. We ridiculed it. We refused to look, and then when we looked, we actually were like, "Wow!" Right? So you believe the Earth is a globe. So let's see who's more mentally stable. I've been researching this for 10 years, day and night, looking at the facts, not looking to prove the Earth is flat, looking for the truth. Right? Mm-hmm. And the things fall into three baskets. Works only on a globe Earth, works only on a flat Earth, and can work on both. And there's lots of things that go into the both. There's tons of things that go into the only a flat Earth. So far, we used to think we had one thing that only worked on the globe, but we actually found out it actually works on both. But no one's ever proved it. So again, we'll see where the whoops, what happened to my screen? Did I just disappear?
You're still on with me, mate.
I'm back. I'm good. So in 2014, I started trying to disprove the flat Earth nonsense and the globe. And for 2 weeks, I was researching my ass off. And the more I looked, the deeper. It's like a bug caught in a spider web, because the more I went in, the more evidence I found for the globe. So you would agree, to defend something, you'd have to know about it, right? If you want to defend somebody's story, you'd have to know, did they commit the crime? Whatever. You want to be a good lawyer. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and let's see if you get a better score than me, because I got 0 when I was asked these questions. So all you have to do is tie or get better, and than me. So that's pretty easy. There's no pressure here. What is the circumference of the Earth at the equator?
33,000 miles?
24,901.
24,000.
What is the diameter of the Earth? What is the radius of the Earth? How fast is the Earth spinning? How fast is the Earth spinning at the equator?
8,600 miles an hour.
1,034 miles an hour. How fast
Yeah.
is it orbiting the sun?
Ah, I know this from an episode of The Office. I couldn't tell you, Dave. Sorry, I
Average
couldn't
speed
tell you.
66,600 miles an hour. Funny, that number shows up a lot in the helio satanic model. All right.
Yeah, that's quite
And
odd.
and then it's how fast is the sun flying through the galaxy that we're chasing the sun?
That math, it
Yeah,
can't even
it's almost a half a
calculate.
million miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
So you have to believe that you live on a lumpy rock that is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and all the water doesn't just centrifugally go to the equator, which it should, right? We're orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at a half a million miles an hour, never to return to where we were before. But somehow all of the stars always remain in the exact same configuration.
Mhm.
All of the constellations, the zodiacs, they all never change,
Yeah.
right? Go outside in a big field and get a bunch of sticks, different heights, and put balls of different size on them and just put them randomly and then look at them from one area and say, okay, yeah, I could see a starfish, right? Then walk 10 feet and tell me that doesn't change. Walk to the other side of the field. Everything changes, but the stars never change.
Yeah.
Isn't that a problem?
Yes, but isn't that because
They're so
for
far away. They're
yeah, but there's so
so far away.
I mean your perception the perception of them obviously would be hard to distort. If you were looking at the same patch of stars every night, they wouldn't change in our lifetime.
Why? We're traveling 4.4 billion B
Yeah, but
a year, million miles a year, billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. So in 10 years, it's 44 billion miles
but
and nothing changes.
isn't that more time though that a star could be extinct right now when we're still seeing it live? It's the time that takes through.
So you believe that light travels like a laser beam and doesn't laser beams spread out, by the way, but as light travels, it spreads out in all directions. So it's getting diluted. It's called the inverse square law. Every time you double the distance to a light, it's half
Yeah.
the brightness.
Yeah.
So how could light travel for billions and billions of years, right? They tell us our Earth. Right, so here's parallax, right? Something close and something far. And as we move, the closer one moves at a different rate, right? It moves faster, right? But that never happens in the zodiacs, right? Never happens in the zodiacs. So if the sun was the size of in our heliocentric model, sun's gigantic, the Earth is tiny. So if the sun was a yoga ball, right? You know what a yoga ball looks like, about this big. The Earth would be like a marble or a BB, right? Okay. So if you went outside right now and I moved the sun, the actual sun, to a 1 mile over your head, just for modeling purposes, 1 mile, right? That would be like you're standing on the top of a BB and that yoga ball is a millimeter above your head, right? So when you look up, the entire sky would be the yoga ball, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
how do we make something smaller? Here's the sun right above your head. It gets smaller as we move it farther away. Simple, right? So we move it 93 million miles away, which is a made up number that they say that the sun is. And now it's the size of a coin held at arm's length. So it went from filling the entire sky, right? It's just over your head, remember? We move it 93 million miles away, or 8 light minutes we can measure in light minutes. And it's now the size of a coin. So if we doubled the distance, this is easy, by the way. You were never taught to think. You were only taught to memorize and regurgitate what was in the textbooks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we double the distance, what I tell you, it's half the size. So now it's the size of a pencil eraser, maybe. Okay, maybe a little bigger. So we double it again, so it's 4 times as far. So now it's like a large star. We double it again, so it's 8 times as far.
Mm-hmm.
It's now the size of a star. So 8 times 8 light minutes is 64. Let's call it a light hour. So at a light hour, our sun would look like a star. We can prove that scientifically, right?
Okay.
So what about at 2 light hours? Could you see it?
You'd be pushing it. You still surely see it, but
it might be very, very tiny. But remember, not only does it get smaller, the light is getting dimmer and dimmer by 50. Well, they say it's a quarter of the brightness, but even if it's 50% each time you double the distance. So at 2 light hours away, let's just round up a light day, 24 times. You can't see it a light day. So they tell us Polaris. Where are you? What country are you in?
Scotland.
You're in
Scotland. So it's
Scotland.
nice
So
and
you,
cold here,
yeah, you can see the North Star, right? You know where it is.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the Big
yeah.
Dipper. And it's always there. It never moves. So they tell us the North Star is 46 times bigger than the sun. That's what they tell us.
Okay. Yep.
Right? So they also tell us that the moon, this isn't the scale, of course, the moon is 400 times bigger than the sun, is 400 times bigger than the moon, right? So you can see that it looks bigger, right? But it's 400 times farther. So they match. They match in size, right? And then we have eclipses like that, right? And so that's called scaling and variance, right? So if we took Polaris, 46 times bigger than the sun, and put it 46 times as far as the sun at 8 light minutes, so 8 minutes times 46, the Polaris would look just like our sun in our sky. Okay. But what if we put Polaris at 1 light day away? At 1 light day away, we couldn't see it. Just like we couldn't see the sun. Magnitude's too small. 1 light day away, we couldn't see it. Well, I'm sorry. It would have to be 46 light days away, right? 46 times bigger. So at round up, 2 light months away, you couldn't see it. They tell us Polaris is 430 light years away.
Yeah.
430 light years away. So listen, as we go through this, you're going to go, this doesn't make any sense. Then you're going to think, you're stupid. You're not stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid.
I love that.
Okay? It's stupid. You're not stupid. It's stupid. So remember the moving and parallax? I'm going to just show you something. Do you ever hear of the Georgia Guidestones here in America?
Yeah, no, I think I've seen that on a program that I watched called The Proof Is Out There. Quite a good documentary program.
What's the proof? What was it talking about?
The Proof Is Out There. It kind of goes into loads of different subjects. Like I say, I love my Bigfoot stuff, so we got a little Bigfoot in there, a little bit of ghost, and it also has actually like architectural stuff like that. Am I right in saying that that's almost kind of like, I'm not going to say the Freemasons, there's like some sort of writing and scrolled? Yeah.
There's scrolled on it. There's 10 commandments. One of them is, which is something you might want to think about in 2025, is they don't want the world population to rise over 500 million again. That's a serious reduction, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'd encourage you to look into the history of the Deagle report, which that says that the population of the United States and the UK is going to drop by 60 to 70% in 2025. Wow. Okay, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. All right, and that's just, that maybe it's all nonsense. So there's a little hole right here in the center stone, and when you look through it, you can see Polaris any day of the year, any night, right? Polaris is always there, and it never moves. Now, they tell us Polaris is so far away. It's so far away that moving 4.4 billion miles is like the width of a hair. It's like it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't notice any parallax, even for centuries and centuries and millennia, right? Because Polaris is always there. But they say 2,000 years ago, we used to have a different North Star because the Earth is wobbling 1 degree a year, and we're pointing towards Thuban back then because the pyramids in Egypt have a shaft that points at Polaris. And we say, well, Earth can't be wobbling if they built that shaft towards our North Star. And they go, oh, no. It used to just be another star when they built the pyramids. And it just happens to be our North Star now. Cool story. Can't really argue with it. Stupid. But this was built in 1981, right? And when you look through that hole, you see Polaris. You can do time lapse, and Polaris is right there. Now, if the Earth is wobbling on its axis, right? We got our axis. It's wobbling, doing a 26,000 year cycle. It's moving 1 degree a year. 1 degree in the sky is equivalent to 3 full moons side by side. Okay. So this was up for over 40 years. It was pointing towards Polaris when they built it, and Polaris was still in that hole. 40 years, that's over half of a degree. That would be 1 moon width and a half. It would have been out of the hole, invisible at all, but it's still there. It was still there. So we started making videos, and they were starting to go super viral. They were going super viral, and all of a sudden, a terrorist blew up the Georgia Guidestones. They don't know how it happened. 3 hours later, bulldozers were there. knocked the entire thing down, took everything away, stole the time capsule,
Yeah.
and there was no investigation.
Very bizarre, very convenient. What way to say it, yeah?
Yeah, very, 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 very crazy. That's
Yeah,
just crazy.
I mean,
Okay.
I'll definitely agree with one part that you've done so far, and to go back into obviously measuring light years. Now, I might be completely wrong, so do correct me if I am wrong. But am I not right in saying the original calculation for the speed of light would always be wrong because you're calculating it in a motion's atmosphere? Now, if everything is traveling through space, when that first calculation of pointing the laser to the moon and back and how fast that took, that's still inaccurate because we're still moving. So
Yeah,
just back up a little bit more your point. Yeah.
it's all insane, right? We're supposedly GPS from satellites tells us exactly where we are. We can test it with our iPhones. We can literally see what side of the house we're in, right? So it's super accurate. But you know, it never calculates for there's a storm, there's weather, there's the clouds, or whatever. That would change the speed of the light, right, by milliseconds, and then none of it would ever work. But it's all nonsense. I don't think that light travels. I think light is instantaneous. But that's an argument that I don't have the equipment to prove. You ever hear of Coral Castle here in Florida?
No, that's new to me.
This guy, Edward Lee Scallon, a little skinny, less than 100-pound-year-old guy, built it by himself, no heavy machinery, like doors 11 tons that you can spin with one finger, and just it's literally, he said he had the secrets of the pyramids. But this hole up here has a wire in it that crosses. And let me go to the next picture. And so you got this little wire. Now, Polaris isn't actually perfectly still. It makes a tiny little circle. Like if you do a time lapse of Polaris, it makes a tiny little circle, like a fraction of a degree, right? So it actually goes. So when you go over here, this is a pointer stone and there's a little eye hole. And when you look through it, you see this. And if Polaris is in this section, it's winter. If it's in here, it literally just goes from here to here to here to here. Yeah. So it's that accurate, right? And it goes, this is the path of Polaris. It goes right around in here. Mm-hmm. How the heck did he build that? How the heck does it stay? We're wobbling, spinning, whirling, and twirling. Polaris is moving in its own direction. This thing's been up for decades. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating, especially when you're showing me them as well. It is very. I mean, I'm not qualified or trained to argue.
There you go. You've
already got me with it, haven't you?
That's the defer to authority fallacy, whatever it's called, right? You think that you don't have God-given common sense, so you'd rather listen to man's nonsense, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're a religious guy. I'm not I don't follow any organized religion, but basically it says in the Bible, trust no man. Men lie, right? And so, and I also say, don't trust me. Go verify everything. Verify everything, right? So I'm showing you that we're not moving. Your senses tell you that. Nonsense tells you that we're corkscrewing through space, right? That we're corkscrewing through space. Do you know these speeds are unfathomable? Okay. Let me show you this. This is called the hypersonic sled track, and it's a rocket propelled thing on a track. Ready? Here it comes. Didn't even see it.
Yeah,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's Mach 8.6. Now, could you fathom twice that speed?
Not be a lot left, do you?
Not really, right? Here's the side view, right? It's not even. It's just at the end, it's going that fast, right? So you have to imagine that we live on a rocky ball surrounded by smooth curved water that never shows convexity, surrounded by high pressure air adjacent to a vacuum, which is impossible. And it's moving in four directions, but it's orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that in a curved path. But people say, well, I can drink a glass of water on an airplane, go to the bathroom, right? Well, the airplane is only going half the speed of the spin of the Earth. So if you want to double the speed of the airplane, remove the outer shell, because the Earth doesn't have an outer shell, and then nosedive at a mile per minute to follow the curve, then you're mimicking what an airplane would feel like, just mimicking the spin of the Earth. But I'm not even talking about the spin of the Earth. I'm talking about I'm talking about the orbit. We're going 10 times faster than that around the sun, and we're going 100 times faster than that chasing the sun.
Yeah.
Right? But when we go out into nature, we see calm lakes like this. When this is going on, right? We see lakes like that. Now, what does your common God-given senses tell you? You are an intelligent, spiritual, everlasting soul. And what does nonsense tell you?
Gravity.
Gravity. So gravity. That is their word. They love gravity. What is gravity? Which gravity do you like? Do you like the Einsteinian gravity or the bending and warping of space-time? Because they gave that's Einsteinian, the Newtonian gravity. Because they gave that up, right? Nature doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Large bodies of water at rest need containment. Can you show me a gallon of water or more that doesn't have containment?
No.
No,
or
you
struggle
can't.
to.
You can't. You can say show me a puddle, but the edge of the puddle is higher than the water, so it's contained.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the land is higher than the water, and that's its containment. Now, if you are in a car or an airplane, anywhere, you got a dinner plate and filled it with water to the rim, and the car sped up, slowed down, or took the slightest turn, the water's going to slosh right off the plate.
Yep, it's true. That's true.
But not here on Earth. On Earth, everything's different. What happens when you open up a can of carbonated drink? It goes, what's it doing? It's equalizing with the room pressure, right?
Yep.
It's equalizing with the room pressure. If you opened up a can of soda in a vacuum, it would explode. It would just literally explode. If I had a can of air in a room in a vacuum and I put a hole in it anywhere, it's violently going to fill the available space. That's the law. That's the thermodynamics law. Okay. Except in space where you can't go, right? Gases don't expand, they collapse and cause stars. Helium and hydrogen defy gravity on Earth, but our sun is made of 98% helium and hydrogen, or 99%. So it's made of helium and hydrogen. So in space, there was so much helium and hydrogen, it goes, I'm done expanding. I'm going to collapse and form a star adjacent in a vacuum void. And I'm going to burn for billions and billions of years, burning 640 billion pounds or tons a minute or an hour or a day or whatever it is. It's something stupid, right? And I'm never going to get any smaller. And my gravity is so strong I could hold on to Pluto for billions of years, but I'm going to ignore the moon, right? If the moon is coming around the sun, the Earth towards the sun, wouldn't the sun pull it a little bit? And when it goes away, wouldn't it slow it down, speed it up? Wouldn't it rip it away from Earth? And they go, well, the gravity of Earth is closer to the moon, so that it outweighs the sun's gravity, but the sun can hold on to Pluto. Listen, you're not stupid. You've been made stupid by believing nonsense. I can write the book of bullshit, and you can study it, and then you can regurgitate it on a test and get 100. I'll give you a diploma. I'll say you have a degree. And when you talk bullshit with your friends, they can't question you because they don't have a degree.
Yeah, but that is true, because there is a lot of patronization. I remember I did, after a senior after I got the notification and booked up with you, I obviously went and checked out a couple of your episodes. And one thing that I really didn't like, and I'll just say that it was one of the podcasts, one of the first.
Professor Dave, that's a Google.
Thank you.
Google will serve you, Professor Dave. They think that hurts flat Earth. It's turned so many people into flat Earthers.
The thing was, I mean, I'm old enough to you. I don't quite believe the concept of flat Earth. I'm here to learn about it.
Yeah.
But in his episode, in his channel things, it said that he wants to expand the literacy of science. And I came away from watching that thinking, if that's science, I don't want fucking anything to do with that. That's disgusting the way
he's disgusting. He's actually not a professor. He just calls himself a professor. He literally gets coached by some agents for evil. We know who they are. And he's good with math. Math is not reality. I can show you an equation that says you have $10 million in the bank right now. Okay. I can show you an equation. The equation's real. Right. And and anything he puts up is number one hit. You search flat Earth, bam, it's right up there. So all of the globe trolls, they number one. You search flat Earth, top 10 reasons the Earth is flat. You get top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe. Okay. And you search. Now, I've kind of broken the algorithm because I go on so many different channels. They don't know what to do, right? It's all over the place. But what I tell people is don't believe anything. Go to flatearthdave.com. And I have the crash course there. You see a big picture of me and it says crash course. Click it. There's a list of awesome videos. You'll love them that Google is hiding from you. They don't want you to see them. So when someone hides something from you and your mom says, I'm going to hide that from you. You want to see it, right? So they're hiding crap from you. Watch the first 5 videos, and you too will lose the respect of your family and friends and have fights at the Christmas table because you'll be a flat earther. Okay?
I'm very open-minded. And like you say, you're going to be breaking all the algorithms after tonight's episode, reaching into mental health as well.
Don't be so open-minded that you believe anything. If you believe me right now, then you are lazy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah. You have to go and research your own points to come to a firm.
So let me ask you a question. I have this plot of land, and I hear that you are an excellent architect, right? And I need you to come. I want to build an amusement park this big, right? And so you come and show up, and you break out your tools, and you say, "All right, I want to survey the land," but you start measuring the angles to the lights in the sky. You're like, "Oh, I'm going to measure the sky to landscape the land." Does that make any sense?
It wouldn't to me because I'm not an architect. I don't know if that's a common practice.
Well, nobody measures the sky to landscape. They measure the land. Yeah. They measure the land. Yeah. All right. So understanding that is important. But when you look up in the sky is fascinating, and we need to figure it out. We need to understand it. But the skies are literally the heavens above. The Earth is the terra firma here. And when we do measurements on Earth, we never can find curvature. We find things that so here's the thing. Whether the Earth is flat or a globe, you can only see so far based on the thickness of the atmosphere. If there's fog, you can only see a little ways. If it's hazy, you can see a little farther. If it's super clear, you can see farther. But the globe requires a maximum distance. You can't see my mouth because there's physical curvature here. And zooming in will not get you past that curvature, right? You zoom in, there's no difference, right? But on a flat Earth, basically the sky and the ground meet due to what's called perspective. And it's the limit of your eye zone or your horizontal eye zone or your horizon, right? So your horizon always appears to be at eye level. But in reality, it's much, much higher than eye level, but it looks like it's at eye level. All right. So here is the sun setting. And when we zoom in, we can see it's actually still up in the sky, but our eyes couldn't see this gap. And these trees that are 200 feet above the water, it all looks like it's going to become a little farther out. That looks like the edge of the Earth.
Yeah.
Right. So when it goes a little bit farther, it's going to go beyond the trees. Right. Mm-hmm. So when I say beyond the trees, here's the top of the trees. And as it goes away, it goes below the trees, but it's just going beyond the trees. But everything, because of the way we see, it looks like, it looks like, hold on a second. I'm looking for something. It looks like, what happened here? I'm looking for, there it is. So everything looks like it's going down, but it's just going beyond. So let me show you this. So one of the arguments is, oops, hold on. So one of the arguments is this, is on a flat Earth, things should get smaller. Right? The sun should get smaller. As if it's just circling around us and going away, it should get smaller and smaller and smaller, just like this train is getting smaller. Right? But this person is at the same height as the train. So yeah, the train, it's not getting smaller, it's just getting farther away. Right?
Yeah.
But there's a thing, I forget the name of the effect, not the Bernoulli effect. It's something, when something is already far away, it's already small. So this is a level horizontal line. This is a hallway. These lines are all level, but look at these lines here. These are level lines. That's level. That's a level line. It's level to the floor, but how do you see it? You see it going down. So this is an orthographic view of the sun. This guy has this view of the sun. And as the sun moves away, it'll appear to go down due to perspective. So this is what's going on. It's just perspective. Remember the lines on the wall? And this is what this guy is seeing. And it just goes beyond the horizon. So here's the train already smaller. It's already smaller. So it's not really getting much smaller. And the truth is, as it goes down, you're looking through more and more and more and more atmosphere. The thickest part of the atmosphere is down low. And when you're looking through all that atmosphere, things are getting magnified. So as it's getting a little bit smaller, it's also getting a little bit magnified. So it's a yin yang. It's a beautiful creation, right? So let's look at that. Was just an animation. So this is, we got a ball here, and then we got the same ball 6 feet away. And this one looks much smaller, right? Shouldn't the sun do that? Yeah, shouldn't the sun do that? Right? But I'm going to lift the camera straight up 6 feet in the air. So I'm 6 feet above this ball, no closer to this ball. So when I go up, the ball gets smaller, and it's basically the same size as this ball.
Yeah.
I'm not even any closer to that ball. So this is an orthographic view again. Now, yeah, it's a little bit bigger. But again, remember, as we look through more and more atmosphere, it gets magnified. But the beautiful thing is, when you actually look at sunsets, right? When you actually look at sunsets, they do sometimes get smaller. Here is a coin on a table mimicking what the sun does. Well, the camera is slightly below the table, so it makes perfect sense that we're losing the coin, right? Mm-hmm. This horizon is 10 to 20,000 feet above the viewer's eye lines, but it looks like it's not. When you zoom out, it looks like the curve of the Earth, but it's not. It's super high because all of that atmosphere literally gets crunched into your horizontal eye zone. I'm trying to find. So this is on a super dry, clear area. This is in Afghanistan. And I got Paul McCartney saying, "And the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head sees the world spinning around." The sun is just moving away. Now, if the Earth was spinning, the sun should just be going down. It should literally go down, but it's just going away, and there's very little magnification, and it's going and it's taking its light with it.
Yeah. Could I just ask you something just on there? It's just a question back to you. It's what about then with daylight saving hours? Why does time change for if as you said before, the Polaris stays in the same location? If we're changing our time to measure the sun of where it is, why do we have to change that if it was always constant?
So how are time zones made on a ball? Do you know? What is the time?
Just the lines of I done higher geography as well. The lines of latitude and longitude.
I'll help you. So you have the North Pole and the South Pole, and you draw a line, and you draw 24 lines, so sections of an orange. It's like an orange. Yep. And as the Earth spins, whatever's facing the sun, it's noon at that area, right? Right?
Yeah, correct.
That makes perfect sense. So how many time zones are there on Earth?
There should be 24.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's 24 hours, 24 time zones, right? If the Earth was laid out flat, the time zones would be much tighter in the north, and they'd spread out like slices of pizza in the south.
Yeah.
Right? Because you'd have.
I'm looking at the reverse angle. Yeah.
Yeah. You would have that. So let me show you here. The sun moves around. So this outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn. The yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. The sun travels 6 months out. Mm-hmm. And December 21st, it's out here. We're almost there at the winter solstice. And then it'll travel 6 months in. And when it's in, it's closer to the inner north. That's when it's warm. When something's closer to you, it's higher, right? If you go out, stand under a street light, that's your summer sun. And the street light down the road is your winter sun. It's the same height, but it's lower in the sky from your point of view. It's really the same height, but you see it lower and it's farther. A local light, right? So it's noon in South Africa right now. Okay. And I'm here in the East Coast and the sun's rising as it's coming closer. It's still low in the sky because it's kind of far away. But 6 months later, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in June, it's close to me. It's high in the sky and it's warmer.
Yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah. I see it now.
All right. But
Really
no, we're just gonna crush time zones for you in a second. Ready? Okay.
Go for it.
So time zones actually prove flat Earth. Right. So let me get here. So where is it? All right. So time zones. This is we got 24 time zones on a globe. But if this is supposedly Antarctica, if we peeled it open and made it a big disc, it would be like those time zones would just get wider and wider and wider. And then people would notice, hey, I got to travel really far to change time zones, right? That's problem number one. Problem number two is they say that the light is coming in from so far away that all the rays are straight. So this is one time zone it's hitting right here, right? So this would be one time zone. It's twilight for everybody here. Okay. And so the time zones do stretch from the North Pole to the South Pole. So there is a time zone. There should be one right here. And that would be, I don't know, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever time it is. Right. And over here, it should be 12 noon on the side. Right.
Yep.
Okay. And over here on this side, it's midnight for everybody there. But what do they tell us about the Earth? They tell us that the Earth is tilted. Right. It's tilted. So the time zone is going to go across 1, 2, 3, 4 different time zones. But they're supposed to be the same. That's not the bad part. We're getting to the bad part. Right?
It's just because you're proving my questions.
Did you know that in the north, there's 19 time zones, not 24? In between the two tropics, there's 24 time zones. That makes sense. And in the outer lands, there's 32 time zones.
I'm going to ask why.
Because the Earth is flat and it's not a ball, and they're lying about everything, right?
Yeah.
Again, here's the thing: belief is belief is the lazy man's knowing. There's a podcast called Crow 777 Radio, CRROW 777 Radio. I highly recommend everybody listen to that podcast. It goes on every topic, not barely flat Earth, but sometimes. But they teach you about living in this world. Don't send your kids to college. Send them to Crow University. It's just a podcast. Listen to one episode a day, and your kid will be more prepared for the world than any college will ever prepare. This proves that we don't live on a globe. Absolutely proves it, right? So belief is the enemy of knowing. Belief is easy. Where do I live in the United States? East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
Do you know it or do you believe it?
I know it because you just pointed it to the.
You believe it because I told you.
Oh yeah,
you're trusting God. And so here's what we do with life and information. We hear something in a microsecond. We analyze it. We put a judgment on it, whether we believe it or not, based on why would he lie? He seems honest. He sounds like he's near New York. Right? And you stored it as truthful information. Did you know that I'm the president of the United States also? Right. So if I asked you in a little while, I said, am I the president of the United States? You were like, no, but you said you were. So you remember what I said, but you stored it as false information. It is easier to believe that the Earth is a globe than to research and know that it's not.
I'll agree with, I'm still not quite there on the flat Earth, but I'll definitely agree with you on the points that we are, I think, at a time, through our own evolution, that we are dumbed down. But that's the only word that I can really use to express it, by the conventions of knowledge that we're educated in younger years. And like you say, it's very hard to convince people otherwise of what they've been taught at a young age, because that's what they've inherently learned and that's what they live by their entire life. Do you have just because I'm quite fascinated with these illustrations, do you have an illustration of what the Earth looks like to you, Dave?
Sure. But I forgot what I was going to say now. I do. All right, but first let's look at what NASA.
Okay, yeah.
NASA, this is a 2012. I believe it's the 2012 Blue Marble. So This is California here, Baja. So Mexico's right here. You got South America hidden over here. You got the United States, Florida, and the East Coast. Man, America got big. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. America's big. So what is on the other side of this ball? Well, the rest of the world. So here's the whole world. And look right here. This is what NASA says is on this side of the globe. So all of this is on the other side of this ball.
Yeah, it's a stretch.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah.
Imagine how you can
No. Yeah. Is that your answer? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine where that all goes in there. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to imagine. Is that where you're at?
That's as stretch as I'm getting.
Here, repeat after me. Well, that's a fucking lie. Okay. That's a total bullshit. And that's a fake picture. Why the hell is NASA showing us a fake picture? Can you say that? I said it for you. You don't have to say it, right? Sorry for swearing.
I don't believe them on the moon landing, so we can definitely agree with.
So NASA's lying about the moon. They're lying about photos of Earth, right? Yeah. Just remember, in a few moments, I'm going to ask you why you believe the Earth is a globe, right? Mm-hmm. So here's just a comparison. Well, let's look at, this is a picture from NASA. The other side, we got Africa, right? So here's Africa here. So all of this is should be on this side, but we only have the United States. We only have this on this side. So all of this needs to be on this side, and we only have this. Okay. Let that sink in. You know, because you're not stupid, that both of these are fake photos. Why is NASA showing us fake photos of Earth?
They want us to believe anything, obviously, fundamentally there. My only problem with that, though, is perception, is that we are looking at, even if it is a fake picture, we're looking at something spherical, which if I had a ball right in front of me now and draw 4 nice diagonal lines across that, at one time I can probably only see a quarter of that based on exactly where I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at half of it.
You can argue that lots of stuff is hidden on the side here, but if you go get a globe and zoom in, and zoom in, so just so you see this, right? Okay. And then look at all of the stuff that's not there and go to the other side, you won't see it, right? It takes a little while to admit that NASA is lying, right? They're totally lying, right? So let's just look at another one. I'm just going to help you out here. So this is, where is it? It's interesting. They tell us the continent sizes are all wrong, right? That the dark areas are the real sizes, right? Greenland is really this size, not this size, right? You've seen how the maps are wrong. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that all of those correct sizes match up on the flat Earth map. It's just weird, just a coincidence, I'm sure. Okay, just weird, a little weird, right? So here is. Oh, that's the same thing I just showed you. Let me just get here. So let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
This is a interesting photo, and our minds can see we got a reflection in the glass, 2 glasses of wine, some cheese, and a peach, and we have trees in the distance and a field. Maybe we're at a vineyard, at a wine tasting. Beautiful, right?
Yep.
Is that a photo or is that a painting?
No, I would say that's a painting, the way that I look at it.
Okay. But it's pretty damn good, right? Takes a lot.
Yeah. Very.
What takes more talent? To make this painting with just paintbrushes or this painting?
Yeah.
I think you can paint this painting, and you're not even an artist, right?
Yeah. I can at least do a circle. Yeah.
Yeah, a circle. Throw some clouds on there,
yeah.
and we talked to somebody interviewed the guy that actually made the Blue Marble picture, which was on everyone's iPhone, and he said he made it in Photoshop because it has to be, right? These are 9 pictures. And NASA never says photograph. They say pictures and images because maybe they don't want to lie, because a picture and an image isn't a lie. A photograph is a lie if it's not a photograph. So there's 9. So 8 of them have to be fake, or all 9 are fake.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
Right. So why is NASA showing us that? Right. 2012, NASA released this. In 2013, they released this. Look at the size of the United States and look at the size of the United States. Both these balls are the same diameter.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that it's hidden on the side, can't say that for this one. Why is the United States more than twice the size in 2012? I thought we were getting fatter, right? We're actually getting smaller. It's good. Good on us. Right? And then we see pictures from the space station. We're like, oh, this is so cool. Look at that. The space station, they got the atmosphere. Cool. So if we try to find these land features, it's all within that circle. It's
All right, yeah.
fisheye lens from a high flying craft.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big believer in the space station photos. For my own beliefs, like I say, you go back to NASA as far back as the moon landing, and they're not very the most trustworthy of sources, I don't think.
Well, it's absolutely positively provable that we didn't go to the moon. And that's kind of my litmus test. If you believe went to the moon, I'm just like, okay, enjoy your ball. Have a nice day. So we can't verify any of this stuff, except we can drive across Mexico and across Baja and calculate that this is 934 miles. This is 934 miles. So they tell us the diameter, the width of the moon is 7,917 miles. So this red bar represents 934 miles. Well, I should get 8.5 of those. I can't even get 8 on this page to fit in between here and here. So what does that tell us? What does your common sense, factual measurements tell you? This is a fake photo of Earth.
Yeah.
Why is NASA giving us fake photos of Earth? So I want to ask you now, what is the reason you think the Earth is a globe? And you're not allowed to say, well, you can say NASA if you want, but I'll laugh at you. And you can't say because that's what I was told, although you can, but then I'm going to have to reschool you. What is the reason? And you might have one that I haven't addressed yet. So is the Earth flat, or is it a spinning lumpy rock in a scientifically impossible space vacuum, traveling at unfathomable speeds and distances and curved trajectories, defying all laws of physics? Or is it a stationary enclosed plane like every sense in your body tells you?
So I'm still leaning to the globe.
Why? That's my question.
Not,
you have to. So wait. This is where we get to the theme of your podcast.
What the mental health part? Here we go.
We're going to see if you have a mental disorder. Okay, because I'm showing you evidence that your belief in the ball. I was you, by the way. I was you. You're doing a way better job at listening early on than I did. So congrats. Right. So what is if you believe something, you have to have a reason. You believe in Connecticut or the East Coast. Now you're like, oh, maybe he lives in Connecticut, but you don't have any proof of it. But then I could prove it to you. And then you'd be like, yes, he lives in Connecticut. Or I can show you that I'm actually in California. And then you'd be like, oh, I don't believe that. So
I can explain it. I can explain it quite easily this way, I guess. Is that and the reason that I'm still leaning on the globe, the spherical rather than the flat, is because, as you say, I need to have all the evidence out before I make some sort of judgment like this. I've just started going through the realms of simulation theory, and that's something.
I'm down. I'm down there. I'm down.
Yeah,
but it's a flat simulation.
So okay. I never really quite believed in the simulation theory until maybe about a year ago, until I really started researching it, and then I had somebody else on the podcast who were speaking about it, and then that is now probably my fundamental belief. So it's now just encapsulating the rest of it.
Let me help you there. Instead of saying simulation, because simulation sounds like a computer game, say it's a construct. Okay. And I got that from a guy named Darius J. Wright. Have you heard of him? If you go on my app, if you hit the home school button, it's this guy right here. Okay. He's an outer body experiencer where he talks about the stuff that he's seen and the things that are going to happen. And he's been dead on right about everything. And it's an interesting, I just don't like the word, excuse me, simulation. It's more of
it's too Hollywood.
Yeah. It's more of a physical, like I call it physical simulation, right? You and I are physical. If I was there, I could punch you in the shoulder. You'd be like, that's not simulation. Cut it out. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's what we mean. So it's a platonic computer that's simulating binary,
but
and
it's flat.
Data,
It's totally flat. It's totally flat. Google Earth came out in 2001, and it was flat until 2008, where they added curvature. Okay, why was it flat? Why did they do that? Well, it's easier to simulate, right? Why is all the navigation on Earth done with XY coordinates? Where's the Z axis? Right?
That's true.
It doesn't have XY. It's a flat coordinate system. But the globe trolls will say, well, they use the Haversine formula, which is a spherical formula, which it is. But what they did is they took measurements to the stars in the sky, and we see in a celestial dome.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take dome calculations and say the Earth is a dome, you can calculate them onto the Earth, and it'll work. I can say the sky is a cube, take those calculations and make the Earth a cube. I can say it's a tetrahedron, right? So the thing is, as I was saying, on a ball, we have to have a certain amount of curvature. Here's a very, very simple thing. You're in Scotland. It's
Scotland,
cold.
Yeah.
Are your lakes frozen yet?
Probably up north. They won't be too far away from freezing over. Yes.
So when water is at rest, it lies flat, and when it freezes flat. Do you go ice skating?
I don't brave the ice. No.
Okay, but the ice is flat. It's not curved. It's not convex.
No,
right?
No.
At 3 miles, there should be a 6-foot hump of water, of ice. The ice should drop 6 feet in just 3 miles. If the Earth was a globe, it would be required to do that. All right. So we have this frozen lake right here. We got a camera 6 inches off the ground, and we put these 4 lights out here at 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles. Now, that doesn't sound like far. And the program response that people will say is, we're just a microbe on a basketball, and it looks flat from there, right? This is what we've been programmed to say, right? But according to globe math, there's a certain amount of curvature. And then they go, well, there's refraction where things are refracting up. So we did it at night, cold, provably flat. And we even added the refraction, I think, in these numbers. I rounded down. I always give the globe the benefit of the doubt. Okay. If we're, I always give them the benefit of the doubt. There should be 30 feet, 22 feet, 15, and 9 feet of curvature. That means that if the Earth was flat, I got the camera 6 inches on the ice, and I just see those lights at those distances all lined up on the ice. If the Earth is a globe, I'm 6 inches off the globe. My tangent is less than a mile away. And then these things are below my tangent of view. And this one's refracting up 8 feet or whatever, 15 feet, 22 feet, and 30 feet. Right. And they stop at the tangent of my line. They don't go up here. They don't stop down here. They all refract up perfectly at different amounts and stop at my eye level. Which one has a mental disorder and which one is reality?
I love the way you frame that question. Okay, you won't be able to see me, but the one that makes sense is the flat one. I'm going to give you that. Yes.
So reality, testable. You could go out and do this. Go out on a lake, get a snowmobile, get somebody, line this stuff up, measure it, do it. You'll be able to see it. This is nothing. We've done way farther. We've done 26 miles. We've done mirror flashes. So if you and I were across a lake on a summer day and I had a mirror and I flashed the sun at you, you would see it. It would just hit you, right?
Yeah.
We've done it where it should have been over 60, 80 feet below the curve, but you can see the flash. So you have to believe that flash is coming up over the curve. Hello, right? It's coming up over the curve. Hello. Impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, you got me a little bit stumped with that one. I am going to give you that. That is the way you've just explained it makes me very hard to argue that back with limited knowledge that I have. And yeah, when I look at the images a little bit more,
isn't it weird that they never taught you this stuff in school? Okay. So let me show you another thing. This is people say, well, sunsets prove that the Earth is flat, or the fact that we can't see certain things. So do you see me right now?
I see you. Well, not physically. I see you on my screen.
You see, yeah, of course. If I turned off all of the light in this room, would you be able to see me?
No.
Right, because there's no light bouncing off of me. Right, the light that's bouncing off of me is arguably or provably less um, less strong than the actual light that's lighting me up. Right, the light that's lighting me up is brighter than the light that's reflecting off me is dimmer, and the farther away you are, the dimmer it is. So, I'm just trying to get to a certain thing. I'm some stalling. So this is a spot in Aluja, France, where we're looking out over the ocean at Mount Canigou. And Mount Canigou is 175 miles away, and you can't see it because, according to globe math, from this point, the top of Mount Canigou should be over a half a mile below the Earth curve.
Okay, yeah.
But you can't see it. Well, you can't see it, right? But the sun, as I showed you before, migrates between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. 6 months in, 6 months out. So twice a year, it lines up with the viewers and Mount Canigou. Now, the sun's light that's hitting Mount Canigou, either Mount Canigou is below the curve and you can't see it, or that light can't push through 175 miles of soupy atmosphere, right? If I had a pane of glass in between us, you barely even notice it. But if I had 100 panes of glass, you wouldn't be able to see me, even though they're all clear. So the atmosphere is the same. And twice a year, when the sun lines up for a day or two, you can see it because the sun's light is strong enough to push. And it goes beyond it and backlights it. The top of the mountain here should be over a half a mile below the curve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the globe, here's let me give you the mental illness explanation and then the reality explanation. The mental illness explanation is, well, the mountain is below the curve and the sun has already set, but the sun is magically refracting up, and then the mountain is also, that has no light on it, is refracting up and blocking the sun. And it's stopping at your eye level. The regular, normal, common sense is, no, the sun's just right there, and so is the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. Globe Earth is a mental illness. Now, no, it's not a mental illness. It's a brainwashing issue from before you were born, right? Well, before you were born, before you can talk. You know, you had Mobile of the planets, and you watch Sesame Street or whatever, and they had astronauts on there, and you go to school, they got a globe, and they teach you about the sun and the moon, and when it's your birthday, you march around the room, another trip around the sun, another trip around the sun. All of that is brainwashing, and everything you watch about space and aliens, right, that's brainwashing. But when you come on a show with me, where I am explaining this stuff to you, if you don't have to accept it right now, it's a lot of information, but if you don't accept it, you have a mental illness. Right? You have a mental illness. It could just be an egoic thing. It could just be ego, or maybe there's something wrong with your brain.
Yeah, I mean, I can't dispute some of the facts that you're giving me. All right, I can't. Like I say, that last one had me a little bit stumped. There's certainly an awe of curiosity meandering its way through my brain right now that's trying to, obviously,
I understand this is the Suez Canal
that I've already been given. Oh, the Suez Canal, yeah.
Over 100 miles, and it was built on a datum line of 14 feet or whatever, and they didn't account for any curvature. There should be over a mile of curvature. 1 mile of curvature, right? And then people say, well, I've seen boats go over the horizon. I've seen boats go over the horizon, right? Do you see any boats out here? You don't, but as we zoom in, we're making it bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden boats up here. Right, they're still there. You just can't see them because of our visual acuity, the angular resolution limits of our eyes. Look, it looks like it's going to drop below. It's really just going into the horizon. You can't see it. It's there. It's not below the curve, because if it was below the curve, I could zoom right over it if I was zooming in. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
You're a smart guy. Don't get it wrong. So here's one. We call this one the Black Swan. It was one of the first pictures we got. We got these oil rigs, 6.2 miles and 9.4 miles, and the camera is very low. And at this one, there should be 59 feet of curvature. Now, people say, well, look, it's compressed, it's distorted. It certainly is. Okay. But they're saying, oh, some of the bottom's missing. Well, we can see the surface of the water beyond it. We shouldn't see the bottom 59 feet of this thing, which I don't know how tall it is, but 59 feet should be gone. And that water that's beyond it would have to be refracting up even farther,
Over,
the thing
yeah.
would refract at a different distance, and it all refracts and stops magically at your eye level. It's stupid. It's literally the R word. When I say frigging ridiculous, I really mean F and R. Okay, I won't say. Okay, okay, it's frigging ridiculous, right? You're not stupid. It's stupid.
Mhm.
You've been brainwashed. You like space, you like aliens, you like extraterrestrials. Of
I
course, I
love all
do.
that sort of stuff.
I
Yeah.
do. Right. Let's just now. Here's the thing: we haven't speculated on anything so far, but I love speculating, and I love talking about things that there's lots of evidence towards. But again, we don't haven't necessarily proven it. But I believe that there is more land. Where would that more land be? So if I go to the images section of my app and type in map, right? Right. So this is our world pond.
Okay,
This,
cool. So this is yeah. Okay, cool.
this is the shoreline of our pond, right? A pond needs a shoreline, needs containment.
Okay, yeah.
They they um they tell us out of all the continents, Antarctica, the average height of Antarctica is double the average height of any other continent. The second
Mhm.
highest continent, we're more than double. So Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. So what did they do?
Yeah.
The question is, what's out here? What's
Mhm.
out here? This yellow line is 60, a pink line represents 60 degrees south, and there's no independent free exploration beyond there. They'll take you to this little peninsula right here called Deception Island or Rothschild Island. They'll let you play with, they'll see some penguins, and then they'll kick you out and they'll charge you $30,000 for that. Okay.
Pretty bizarre that it was Rothschilds as well.
Yeah.
Just to add a little bit more.
So what did they do? They took that, they cut it out, they wrapped it around a sphere, and they said, "You're not allowed to explore out here. We'll take you here to this tip, and then we'll kick you out. But no one's allowed to explore here because this doesn't exist. That is the outer world. So what if the world was set up like this? This is a what if, right? So here we are, right? You're in Scotland, so Scotland would be up here, right?
Yep, right there. Yep,
right there. So, by the way, in another podcast, somebody said they're in Scotland. I didn't know Scotland was part of England, and man, did I get a lot of shit for that.
Don't worry, I'm right. I've got English mum, so you're totally safe with this.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, that's all they got. That's all they can come after. A little shit like that. It's kind of
No,
funny.
man.
So out. So this is Antarctica. Could be 1,000 miles, couple thousand miles wide, and then out here is extra territory, extra terra. If somebody lived on the extra terra, what might you call them?
Probably an extraterrestrial.
And if they came in here, listen to my words. If they came in here to abduct you and anally probe you, where might they be coming from?
Outer space.
Outer space. There you go.
Yeah.
You're the first person. Everyone goes aliens. So I'm like, no, it's outer space.
No,
Right.
space.
So that's just thousands of miles away. You know how the closest star they tell us is 4.5 light years away, which is 25 trillion miles. Doesn't sound that big, right? America's debt is 3 times that. All right. So how big is a trillion?
9 zeros.
Okay, it's 9 zeros, 9 zeros, right? So how long is 1 trillion seconds? Just to show you how big a trillion is. How long is 1 trillion seconds? If you guess it within 2 days, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, there's just
no
way
take a wild guess. Now. I mean, you don't lose anything.
What am I doing? How long's a trillion seconds? 673 million. Wait, I'm forgetting about what my
1 trillion seconds. 1 trillion seconds. I can just tell you. You don't want to guess. You want to guess? You want to guess?
I was going to say 673 billion or something like that overall.
A trillion seconds is 31,000 years.
Okay, yeah.
31,000 years. So if we were in a rocket ship going a mile per second, which is faster than any rocket has ever gone, mile per second, for 31,000 years, we're 1/25th of the way to the closest star. We got to do that 24 more times. You're going to get really sick of me on that trip, right? But if Elon lends me a rocket that goes 100,000 miles an hour, which is unfathomable, it's only going to take us 28,000 years to get to that star. When we get there, we realize there's no intelligent life. It's kind of just like Earth. And we have to go to the next star, which is 10 times farther. Okay? Ridiculous. It's stupid. Space is Narnia. You can't have gas balls, burning in a space vacuum, right? So this in an enclosed system, they're just thousands of miles away. It's a day trip. Somebody can get up early, get in their little craft, come in here, abduct somebody, mutilate some cows, and make it home in time for dinner with the kids. Okay?
Yeah.
In the same day, right? Taking it one step farther, just speculation. This is a map that was found in a Buddhist temple, 10
Now,
centuries old.
Yeah, this interests me a lot.
Yeah, 10 centuries old. And it's showing all of these other continents out here. What's that about? It was published in 1907 in a Hawaiian magazine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me show you something else because we're going to run out of time. We go a little longer. So this is, and again, we don't need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica to prove the shape of the Earth. We don't need to look up at the sky to prove the shape of the Earth. It's very, very simple, right? So let's get out of there. So you can go on ocean tracking and see you can see ships all over the world, right? You can track them everywhere around the world, right? Mm-hmm. And so here's that ocean tracking site, and we noticed there was a ship way in here, an active, and it said fishing vessel. How does a vessel get?
So this is Antarctica, right? Yeah.
This is Antarctica, right? Right. How does it get 730 miles from the shore, which is, almost 2 miles above sea level? So another one that was here, 905 miles, which is 2.37 miles high. How does it get there? It's 905 miles from the closest spot. Like, why? That's some sort of anomaly. So you click on any of these ships and it'll tell you the size, where it's registered, the captain's name, where they're going, when they're getting there. It just gives you all the information. Click on this one. It says registered to the nation of Kiribati, or Kiribati, spelled Kiribati. Okay. And it's registered to the nation of Kiribati, and it's 850 meters long. That's gigantic, and 80 meters wide, right?
Yeah.
So
big.
America says that Kiribati is a very important trade route, and on China too, and they gave them $10 billion each. Where is it? Out here in the middle of nowhere. I had to put a pin on it. There it is, right there. Okay. It's a little friggin' sandbar. Okay. It's a sandbar. Kiribati. Look at the spelling. Kiribati, right? B-I-T-I, right? Right. Notice that. So we started making videos about this. This is interesting, right? So why does a giant ship need to stop at Kiribati, right? And then we look at the ships that are, by the way, this is on Kiribati. There's a Captain Cook bed and breakfast. Captain Cook is the guy that tried to circumnavigate Antarctica, which should only be 10 to 13,000 miles around. But it took him 3.5 years, and he went almost 70,000 miles, which doesn't make sense unless the Earth is flat. All right. And so that's interesting. Proves nothing. Right. So here's ships that are all docking in Kiribati. And when we click on them, very little information. It says destination unknown or destination Christmas Island. I don't know if you looked into the Christmas thing, what Christmas is, what Santa is, child trafficking. There's a whole rabbit hole there, but we don't even have.
I've heard.
So that's interesting. They, I don't know if you looked into the nuke hoax, but nukes are a bunch of nonsense. And they supposedly did nuke testing there back in the 50s, I guess. And, crazy stories. A guy said, in the news article, he said, I put my hands over my face and I could see the bones in my hands. That's not how radiation works. Okay. He's watching too many Bugs Bunny cartoons, right? And look at these guys here. There's a nuclear bomb going off here, and look at them. They couldn't care less. Okay. So this is just propaganda. This is a recent article. This picture has been used a million times it's just an animation, right? So again, nuclear bombs is, an issue. Yeah. So time zones come into play here. And this is, where is it? Why isn't it going? Okay, there we go. Time zones. Whoops. Here we go. Transition. This is the time zone at the date line, and it crosses over 3.5 time zones. Like, why on a ball? Why would you make a time zone like that? I don't know, but I would call this the most suspicious spot. That's where Kiribati is. Okay.
You're right. Yeah. Okay.
Don't know what it
Yeah.
proves. I don't know what it proves. It's just Kiribati. And then after our, just like with Stonehenge's videos going viral, people type in Kiribati and it brings them to this island, almost on the other side of the world. This is now Kiribati, right? And when you go over to where Kiribati is, it's now Kirimati. Literally, they changed it a couple months ago, right? Zoom in. I'll show you the names. I'll show you the old one, the new one. So it's called Kirimati. The B, it changed to an M.
Yeah, that is pretty suspect. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of suspects, and we told you about the time zones, right? So that's weird. But here's my explanation, right? So if this is the map of the world, imagine this map is about this big, right? And I wrapped it around a basketball. So the top half would wrap around the basketball. This would get close to the bottom, and then all of this would have to be crunched up on the bottom. And that's what they're saying is Antarctica. That's why you can't explore there. Because if you explored there, right, maybe the ship was just going out here, trading weapons, tuna fish, computer chips, technology, children. Okay.
Yep.
So if there was a trade route from here to here, or from out here to out here, from here to out here, to advanced civilizations, maybe that's where we're getting all of our stuff. Come on, last 100 years, we went from the first car to computer chips that do crazy things. Look at you and I. You're in Scotland. I'm here. We're having a conversation like we're in the same room. Okay, where did that? We pull that out of our butts?
I fundamentally believe that we've reverse engineered stuff to get to where we are today with our technology.
We interviewed somebody interviewed a guy that worked in a chip factory, and they were in charge of improving the chips. And they said they would have a chip and they would make the minor, tiny improvements, like barely. And then all of a sudden, the industry says, "Hey, we need a chip that's 5 times faster." And they're like, "What are we going to do?" And then the CEO comes in and goes, "Here, use this chip." Right. And then make this chip, reverse engineer it. Okay. And so they're just pulling chips out of their rear ends. Weird. Right. So again, this is interesting. A very important trade route, a little sandbar going through Antarctica, or is this it? Right. So the thing is, let's go back to you again. Why do you think the Earth is a globe?
I'm starting to now. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
question it.
No, you're right. Because I'm joining dots in my own.
I have homework. I have homework for you. So this is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com, and it's $3 one-time charge. Okay, and there is some things like on it. If you click the handshake button, this is called the Friend Finder, right? And it'll show you all of the other people that have the app around you, and you can actually message them. You can look at their profiles. You can do all sorts of stuff. But let's take a look. Let's look at Scotland. Let's see if there's anyone around you that is a flat earther. So here we are. Where's Scotland? You're buried. Are you above
so
Sweden?
We're little bit south, or on your screen, a little bit further south there, and across to your west. Yeah, that's at Gotland. It's Sweden. There's Gothenburg. A little bit further south. I think you're in Stockholm.
South?
Further south again. A little bit more. And then you need to go west. Yeah, there's Denmark. So you just want to go, straight west.
No, east.
Never
that way, right?
Oh, yeah. It'll be east. Right. Aye. Sorry. I'm like left.
There. Is this it right there?
No, you still want to go a little bit further down and left.
Below Denmark?
Yeah. Great Britain's.
Okay, all right.
Left still. Yep, that's Great Britain coming across to your left on there.
Okay.
There's Amsterdam. You want to go a little bit further, a little bit more. Still left again. Right, now you want to start going up.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you.
I was totally in the wrong area. Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's you go a little bit further. Right. Okay, there's actually one quite close to this. Right. Zoom. You know where there's that little bump with no green, no There you go. There's IMO right there. I can see it's there's somebody in Berwick upon Tweed that believes in you that has your app.
All right. So there's people, and then you can click on one of those dots and you can say hello to the person. You can look at their profile. You can meet for a beer. And it's amazing. It does all this stuff. But here's your homework. Every day there's a featured video right here. So while you're having your morning coffee or tea or whatever, click the video, watch the video, and that's it. Go on with your day. All right. And then do that for 2 weeks. And then go, if you have a question, go to the question mark button. And these are the top questions like, hey, why would they lie? Or what about seasons? What about, these are videos that are all made for you that are being hidden for you. Where does the sun go? It's a great section, right? And these are all being hidden from you. They're all being hidden for you. By the way, if you long press any button, like I'm going to press this button right here, it looks like a book. What could that be? Oh, that's books, of course. So say, got it. I'm going to open up the books. And if I scroll over and I click more land right here, more land, these are books on more land. This is the navigator cool. Across the ice wall that shows that map that had all the ponds on it, right? Yeah. A very cool story. This is a really cool story about the Iron Republic. Great. So there's all sorts of books on all sorts of topics. There's kids' books. There's all sorts of stuff. So if you like books, but if you click this button here, right? That button has the more resources page, but if you go right here to full length videos, right? If you click on that, this is videos that they're hiding from you, right? If you watch the first 4 videos, guaranteed you're 100% flat earther. But you'll never find those videos unless you go on my app or somebody links you to them.
That's yeah. Now that kudos to the app. I actually love the idea that you've got everything contained that can be shared with your own beliefs. I think that is actually really cool, regardless of what you believe. I think that's actually cool.
Well, anything. Listen, regardless what I've just proven to you, regardless what you believe, believe.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
You know that you've changed my mind.
You haven't shown me a single proof. If biblical stuff, amazing. Now, listen, I used to tune out podcasts as soon as they mentioned anything. Oh, you're Bible believers. You guys are religious nuts.
Hey, but they say in the Bible, don't they?
It's the Bible's a flat earth book. Click this. Watch if you really want to watch a whole series, the Biblical Cosmology Remastered. Amazing. But it's a commitment. It's literally like a course. It's like 10 videos, 2 or 3 hours each. But mind-blowing stuff. Mind-blowing stuff. And then the old world. Start with Old World Order. If you're new to that, hit My Lunch Break. Mind-blowing. My Lunch Break, you can find them on YouTube, Rumble, everywhere. Just watch 1 or 2 of those. Your life will be ruined. You'll walk out into your own city and you'll go, how did I miss this? My entire life I've looked at this. How come I didn't see that? Like you have new eyes to see the world because you are in a ball prison right now because you still want to believe in the ball. But flat Earth is reality. Extraterrestrials are here on flat Earth. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wait a million years, for them to show up. They're right here. Yeah. Personally, I think we're going to be meeting all these other races in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I
if we're still alive.
Especially, I mean, I don't need. I've not quite caught up in a couple of days, but even the last couple of days of what's happening across in New Jersey and whatnot, it's a bit.
We had them over my town on Saturday. They were here. They were here.
Very, very weird. Yeah, it's just a bit.
I have a theory, no proof, that they're scanning people. They're finding people because we all have these heavy metals in our body that we're breathing in from the sky that we've electively stuck in our arms, many people.
Yeah.
And we literally are transmitting signals. And I think that the drones are mapping us. This is crazy talk, but I believe in detoxing. And there's a great way to detox. Super simple. If you hit the shopping cart button, and also on my website, there's a thing called Masterpiece, which is right here. And it's literally, you put 5 drops under your tongue twice a day, and it pulls all the heavy metals out of your body. And it's incredible things. If you, I mentioned Crow 777 Radio podcast, you can find them in the homeschool section. Their newest podcast, literally at the time of this recording, is talking about Masterpiece. It's amazing. So
That's
check it out
cool.
on my website. And the only reason, like, I don't, oh, here he goes. Here's the grift. He's selling stuff. I only sell stuff that I want people to, use that I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
myself that makes you healthier because they want you sick and dead. I want you thriving and living in the knowing that you're at the center of creation, knowing that your thoughts and emotions create reality. They want you
Mhm.
living in fear, false evidence appearing real, and believing that nuclear bombs are going to blow you up when nuclear bombs aren't even real. Okay, they want you in fear, right? And
Mhm.
fear disconnects you. But I want to disconnect you from the fear matrix and bring you into God's created reality.
Proper reality. Well, you've certainly let me more question and more things than I intended to the start of this episode, Dave. I'm going to give you that. Like you spreaded the seed was planted prior to our interview, but you've certainly watered it and have allowed them to flourish somewhat with your evidence. And I'm like I said at the start, wasn't here to
No, you're having a
try and
discussion. No. You're
yeah.
looking for information. I like it. But here's what's going to happen when you post this: the trolls are going to show up. They're gonna say I'm a grifter. That they just proved that the Earth is a ball by witnessing a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. They're going to say all this stuff, and none of it's true. Look at their
Mhm.
channel. There's no content on their channel, right? They're not going to offer you a glow proof. They're going to say, Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago figured it out with sticks and shadows, the movements of the impossible lights in the sky, right? Our sun is helium and hydrogen in a space vacuum. Show me that. Show me that without using a reification fallacy. All right. You can't use your model to prove your model. Show me gas uncontained in a vacuum. You can't. Okay. Because it's stupid. You're not stupid. It's stupid. Okay. Okay. And so
I
again,
love it.
don't believe me. Don't believe them. Use your God-given common senses, man. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Dave, and I really hope everybody's enjoyed this premiere episode as well. The Borderline Podcast
Wait, I
Investigates.
gotta say one more thing. One more thing. One more thing.
On you go. Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're kind of like the word the simulation thing. I believe that we are eternal souls having this experience in this simulation, if you will, in this
Okay.
physical
Yeah. Yeah.
simulation,
Okay.
and
That's
our
cool. Yeah.
souls are pure, right? I think our souls come from the stars. Our stars are angelic and they don't move because they're perfect, and that we're having this experience and your soul is trying to guide you through this journey. But these evil ones have stolen your mind with the news, which is steering you north, east, west, south. NEWS is the news. And they've got you living in fear, false evidence appearing real. And your soul is always trying to talk to you, your inner voice. But when you are so lost in the sauce, plugged into the lie, and you ignore your soul gets depressed. It gives up. And that's when you get depressed. And then you have mental illness problems and maybe you get into drugs or whatever, right? But when you start listening to your soul, when you find something that's authentic and true, it resonates with you and it lifts you up. When someone's depressed, they can barely get out of bed. They have no, I just can't go to the gym. I can't do this. I can't do that. But when something resonates with you, it lifts you up. Truth
I
resonates.
completely agree. Yeah.
Truth
I
resonates.
completely agree with that.
I can sense you're an authentic person. You're authentic. You're stuck in the matrix a little bit, but I think we cracked it. And I think that if you take the time and effort, right, it's like going to the gym, right? If you never went to the gym, your muscles are going to atrophy. If you don't exercise your brain, it's going to atrophy. You're going to have all those heavy metals in your body. If you don't detox, and you're going to end up with Alzheimer's and dead, just like they want you after they extract all the money from you, because you got sick and whatever. So again, globe delusion is a mental illness. Maybe that's the title for the show.
We can certainly make that if you want it to be.
It's up to you. It's up to you. It's your show. But that's what I'm going to use after I air
it. You take it, man. Like,
right.
I've really, really enjoyed sitting down with you, and you've been an absolute gem of a guest, Dave. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me a little bit of your time and coming on what is my first episode of this new venture that I'm going on, and you've certainly, you put a brilliant marker in there for where we're going to have to meet every other episode thereafter, because you have been absolutely brilliant. And yeah, your little sentence there to finish off with, it actually resonates really well with me, because I completely agree. The times that I've been really quite badly depressed, suffering from anxiety, I return to my Bigfoot, I return to my conspiracies, I get into a book, I start watching stuff, and it completely takes my mind away from what I'm actually struggling with. And I think that's beautifully said.
Truth and authenticity. If you meet someone that's super authentic, that's everyone likes that person. If you are a shithead, no, you're fake, right? And people can see right through that. So authenticity is contagious. And the more authentic you are, the more you can sense unauthenticity. If I could speak.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Once again, this has been a brilliant journey, and you've definitely succeeded with your quest. I'm going to give you that you have certainly planted that into me. I know for a fact tonight when I'm watching videos on my laptop later on, I'm going to be having a look at Flat Earth, and I'm going to possibly check out your app as well. Go into that.
Even before you get the app, I appreciate if you get the app. It helps supports me, and you'll love it because it literally just feeds you more and more information, new content every day. But on my website, flatearthdave.com, just go to the Crash Course playlist. Start from the top. The first movie is 45 minutes. You're going to love it. The next one is called 21 Questions. It's your top 21 questions. You watch those two, you're finished. You're finished.
Don't tempt me.
You're finished.
It's a slippery slope, man. It's a slippery slope.
Good luck at the family Christmas table this winter. Next week. Good luck. You're going to be like, don't mention Flat Earth. Just don't mention it. Don't. Not again. You're not going to be able to help yourself. You're going to be like, have you looked into Flat Earth? And they're going to be like, you need to get on your own podcast because you have a mental illness. All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Dave, thank you so much, man. I've really enjoyed this.
All right, man. Have a good day. See ya.
You too, man. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everyone. If you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.